Hello again, gamers. Welcome back to the Board Game Captain. I'm the Board Game Captain.
I'm Lynn.
And today we are going to be reviewing and showing you how to play Samurai Jack Back to the Past. Now this is a game designed by Andrew Wolf, whose name's really tiny on the back there. And it was published by USAopoly, though they did not put their logo anywhere on the box. It's almost as if they don't want you to know they published it for some reason. It's a little weird. But anyway, it is listed as a game for ages 13 and up, for 2 to 5 players, and for 45 to 60 minutes. So let's start there. So this is obviously a game themed after the TV show of Samurai Jack that you were a fan of, although I didn't really watch much of. But so the age is 13 and up. What do we think? That's an overestimate.
Yeah, I think 10 and up would be better.
It seems a little. It's a fairly easy game to play, and I mean it's just got that basic hand management, playing a color to move kind of mechanic, which goes back to some of the youngest age games out there, like Candyland has that. I mean,
Fantasy Forest.
So it's got that mechanic. It's the other thing is set collecting, which set collecting is pretty easy. You look at what you need and you look where you can get it. The 2 to 5 players, so it's got alternate rules for 2 players where you have kind of like a third ghost player.
Yeah.
But it's still playable at 2 players, but I like it better at 3 to 5 personally. What's your opinion on that?
Yeah, I don't like that with 2 players, the third player uses the Jack in a Coos deck.
Yeah.
I don't know, I think they should get their theme deck and maybe just random.
You can't house rule that, of course, but yeah. So the 45 to 60 minutes is probably a pretty good estimate. This is about roughly an hour-long game, I would say, most times, maybe even quicker. So 45 to 60.
Yeah.
You agree with that statement?
At 2 or 3 players, I would say more like half an hour if everyone knows what they're doing.
But at like 4 or 5 players, it could go up to an hour. So yeah, so it's once you've played it a few times, it does get quicker. So actually, it is a pretty good time estimate. So let's have a look at what comes in the box. Look at the components here. So first thing we have is the rule book. Now the rule book is a fold-out pamphlet. It's got lots of diagrams, which is good, but it has this quirky thing where they'll insert only a single reference to an important rule, and they'll put it in a aside or an example. And that kind of rubs me the wrong way, because sometimes you might skim over the examples going, oh no, I get it, and you didn't realize you're skimming over an important rule. It's not a bad rule book. It has a few quirks like that. If you read everything, including the examples, you're going to get all the rules. But I would say I'd put it around average in regard to quality of rule books. Not terrible, not great, just around average. The main board is functional. This is mainly a placeholder for cards that you can obtain from these locations, as well as a placeholder for Jack's sanity track and the different decks. A lot of the decks sit on this board. There's the discard, the support cards, the movement cards, etc. But I mean, it feels not very attractive, just kind of functional. It's just there to hold the different stuff in different places. I don't know. What is your opinion on that?
I think it's fine. It's functional.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Okay. So the next thing we have is we've got some cardboard punch-out chits, which are pretty basic. These are for points. And we have the cardboard punch-out board, which is, these are actually the spaces you move on. And they have a little illustration in the background, like you can see grass here for the field, and you can see some buildings in the background for the city. But again, these feel very, very functional and not super attractive. Like the ruins, you can kind of see some ruins there. It's more just the color. It's kind of color coded. The next thing we have is the cards, because there's lots of different kinds of cards in here. So we've got player character cards that have the character on them. They're color coded to which space is the home space for that character. So the Scotsman's home space there is the field, because he's green. And he also lists the particular cards that of the support deck are his cards. Then we have villain cards like the beetle drones or Or like the Scaramouche here, who has the illustration of the villain, as well as easy to read iconography of what cards they need to defeat the different spots on them to help gang up on and beat the villain. Then we've got movement cards, which are fairly basic. They just show the particular type of space you can move to. And we have support cards, which have nice illustrations from the show, as well as in some cases, like this one here, they all have an icon up at the top, which matches up with those icons you need to defeat the villains. And some of them, like this one here, will have a picture of a specific character, whereas this one, for instance, does not have a picture of a specific character, and that's because that character gets bonus points when using that card. And then the final component, which I saved the best for last, is the minis. So this comes with a bunch of pre-painted minis, and these are fantastic. As pre-painted minis go, these are really nice. So you've got Samurai Jack, you have Aku, and then you have the players, which are Jack's various allies. So I'm going to show you all of these if I can here. And these are really good. These look fantastic, and these are definitely my favorite component in this game is the minis, without a doubt. Would you agree with that?
Yeah.
I mean, you really like the minis, yeah? These are an attention getter, if you ask me. These are the things that everybody's eyes go right to. So now we're going to head over to the table, and we're going to run you through a few turns and show you how this game plays, and then we're going to come back, and we're going to talk about how this game feels, and we're going to rate it and review it. Okay, so here we can see a game of Samurai Jack Back to the Past set up for 3 players. I am on this side of the table and will be controlling Sir Rothschild over here, the canine archaeologist. I will also be controlling the Scotsman over here on this side of the table, the experienced warrior. And Lynn, who do you have over there?
I have Max.
What is Max's subtitle?
The leader of Andromeda.
I see. And then we, for our 3 players here, we have taken our pieces and put them in the correct player order. We will be moving from furthest away first down to closest to the board when we start playing. We've also placed Aku and Jack over here on this side of the board. We shuffled up the support cards, and for a 2 or 3 player game, you deal out 2 support cards to each location. For more players, you deal out more support cards. We placed Jack's sanity token on the starting space for a 2 or 3 player game. This one is for a 4 player game, and this for a 5 player game. We shuffled up Jack's and Aku's movement deck and placed it on the board, and we each collected our particular card for our character, which both shows the color of their home location as well as the cards that the support cards that are theirs, which give you bonus honor when you collect them. We also took our particular movement decks, we placed the honor tokens in the middle of the board, and we randomly chose the starting villain for the first round. You take 2 random villains and then a random incarnation of Aku for the 3rd round. So for the first round, we have the Horseman, and here is the Horseman's card. So without any further ado, we're ready to get going. So the first thing you do in every turn is you reveal a card to move Jack. So I'm going to reveal a card, and it is the Jungle card, which means Jack moves to the furthest available spot on the first jungle location, and there he goes. Then all players will simultaneously pick a card from their hand of where they want to go. Let's see here. Okay, so now everybody has chosen their movement cards. So now we will flip them all up and reveal what we have chosen, and we go in reverse order, furthest away from the start. So it starts with Sir Rothschild, who chose to move to a green field. So he moves here to the green. Then it goes to Max.
I move to the desert.
Okay, so I'll move you up to the desert. And then we have the Scotsman, who also chose to move to the green. Now, a big part of what goes into making these decisions is what is available on each of the locations there. So that is pretty important. So now we have to reveal a random movement card for Aku, and he is going to the city, which is good. He did not go on any of the spots we are on, because that would be a problem if he had. And then after we revealed the movement card for Aku, starting with the character in first position on the path, we each get to do our location abilities. Now, an important note, though, is no one chose to go where Jack was. And since no one went where Jack is, Jack's sanity meter goes up 1. And that can be a problem, because if Jack gets all the way to the end of his sanity meter, we all lose. So that is bad. So starting with Sir Rothschild would like to take this card here from the field, the Canine Archaeologist, because not only is it a useful card, there are 2 things here that would need cards with the paw print on them. It's also a card with Sir Rothschild's picture on it, which means he'll get bonus points if he uses this card. So I'm going to take that. Then the Scotsman, who also went to the green, went there also for a very similar reason. He had the Scotsman's Daughter card, which again is a paw print symbol card, and also specifically has the Scotsman's picture on it. So he's going to take that one. Max, you're on last. What are you doing?
I'm going to take this card.
Bravery?
Yes.
Which is the same exact reason, except that it is a leaf card. But otherwise, it's a card that has Max's picture on it. So now that everybody has gone, we're going to leave that movement card out that we used, because we can't use it again until we get to draw back up to our full hand. Though the Scotsman went to his home location of the forest, it's the right color, he actually gets his card back. No one else, I believe, went to their home location, though. So the rest of us have to leave that card out. And now we're going to do the next round. So first thing, again, is we have to see where Jack goes. Jack is moving really fast. He goes over to the ruins. Okay. And now it is up to us to choose where we are going to go. Okay, so starting with the character in last position, we are going to reveal we're going to reveal our cards, and that character is going to go first to see where they go. So let's see. Sir Rothschild revealed the ruins, and Max revealed the city, and the Scotsman revealed the jungle. Max is in last, so he gets to go first, and he will go to the city. So the Scotsman revealed the jungle, which means he moves to the farthest space on the next jungle tile, which is the one just one tile in front of him on the first space. And Sir Rothschild, who was in the lead before, is going to be in the lead again, because he goes all the way up to the ruins with Jack. Okay, so the next thing we have to do is get Aku moving, and he is going to move to the desert, which is really lucky for us, because he could have wound up on a couple of different of our characters there, but he didn't. So we're going to, again, resolve our character's abilities. So Rothschild is in first, so he gets to take 1 honor point because he's on a space with Jack. And because he's on a space with Jack, he can either take one of the cards from out of there, or he can take a random card from the top of the deck. It is his choice. So let's see. I would like a weapon would let him get be able to defeat the easiest one. But there is that one that could be... I'm going to go for a random card. See what we get. We got Olivia, who just gives me another paw symbol. That's fine. Okay, so then it is Max's turn. Max, what are you going to take from the orange space there?
I'm in the city. I'm going to take this one.
Okay, and so now the city also, by the way, the city is your home location, so you get to put all your cards back in your deck there. And the Scotsman is on the jungle, and he's going to take this one here because it is another one with his own picture on it. It is the friendship card. So Scotsman is going to take the friendship card there. So then we are going to, again, just move on to the next turn. So first we're going to reveal the movement for Jack, who's just going to move up to the jungle here. He's slowing down a bit. And then we're going to figure out where we want to go. All right, so has everybody got theirs? Okay, so we're going to reveal our cards. And we have Sir Rothschild reveals the jungle, the Scotsman reveals the ruins, and Max reveals the jungle. So it goes in reverse order. So that means the Scotsman goes first and goes to the first available space on the ruins, followed by Max, who gets to go to the jungle, and Sir Rothschild, which also goes to the jungle. Then we're going to find out where Aku goes. He's fallen a bit behind, and he stays behind. Happily so for us in this first round. So now we're going to do our actions as available. Jack's sanity meter does not move because he has friends with him. So Max, what do you? This is the first time you're first.
Yeah, I'm gonna take this one.
Determination, huh? Well, I'm gonna. Oh, don't forget your honor token.
Oh, I did forget my honor token.
Okay, I'm gonna take my honor token for being with Jack, and I'm gonna take a random card. So I got restraint, which is not bad. Gets me a leaf there. Okay, and then it is the Scotsman's turn. He's going to take the Raw card, which can either be used as a paw print or a leaf. So he's got his third card there. So now we're again going to start... let me just... Nobody went to their home spot again, did they? No, they didn't. Okay. So now again, we're going to move Jack randomly. Jack is going to move to the desert. So he is almost off the board now. You ready? Mm-hmm. All right. So we all chose our locations. The Scotsman and the Sir Rothschild and Max all chose the desert. So now here's where it gets a little rough. So we go in reverse order. That's Scotsman first, followed by Sir Rothschild. Max has to go off here. So Max, can you complete one of those challenges on the boss? Okay. So back to it. You do have the cards to be able to do the center challenge.
Yes.
Are you going to do that?
Yes.
All right, so I'll move you on there. All right, so, okay, so it goes in first. So you get to discard those cards and take, I believe that is 5 honor points.
2 of the cards have my character on them.
Which gives you additional honor, does it not?
Yes.
Okay, so how many cards matched your character?
2.
So that's 4 extra honor points. You get 9 honor. That's huge.
I'm going to put my 1 back and take a 10.
That's a big scoring. Okay, so over then the Scotsman, he chose to go to the same place as Jack. And let's see, is there anything he can... He's going to go for a random card because he really wants to get a weapon card. And he did not. Got another paw print. So Sir Rothschild has 2 paw prints and a leaf. He also wants to try to get a weapon card. I forgot to give the Scotsman his honor point. I'll take Sir Rothschild's honor point, and Sir Rothschild is also going to take a random card. And he got samurai armor. He got a weapon card, which is great. So Sir Rothschild actually has now the number of cards that I would need to take out the highest challenge on the next turn here. So
we skipped Aku's turn. You went directly to taking cards.
Whoops. Aku moves to the city. Thank you. Sorry about that. So yes, Aku should have moved first, but Aku could not block us anyway. Could not block us from being able to do things right now. He's kind of fallen behind in this first round. So what happens is next we are going to do the next turn. So we start Jack moves, which will take him off the board regardless of what card it is because he's all the way at the end, followed by us choosing cards except for Max, who's already gone. It doesn't matter what card either me or the Scotsman choose because either one's going to take us off the board. In the case of Sir Rothschild, he's going to go to the toughest one because he actually has the cards to defeat it. Scotsman is not going to be able to defeat that basic one, so he's going to keep all his cards for a future round to hopefully get some points there. So Rothschild will discard all of his cards, though, and in discarding all of his cards, he gets 8 points, and he had 1 card that matched his pictures. That's 10 points total, so he gets a whole 10 points for that challenge. At which point, Aku can move, but it's not really that important because he can't block us, and then we're going to redo the whole board. You keep any cards, any of the support cards you've gotten from the last round. You discard all of the support cards that were still out on the board. You pick up all of the cards from your movement deck and can use all of them again. Everyone's going to go back to the beginning in the order of your scoring so that the person in last place will get to move first. So I have the most points with Sir Rothschild, followed by Max with the second most, followed by the Scotsman, who only has 1 honor point so far. Then we have to pick up all of these tiles, and they're grouped into 3 groupings. You have these ones with Samurai Jack on the back. You have the second group there, which is that Jack in a different time period there?
I don't know.
I think it is. And then you have this last one with Aku riding a motorcycle. Are you going to help me pick those up? Okay, you shuffle up the tiles and you deal out a new board with these, again, going one group of 5 followed by another group of 5 going by another group of 5. So we're going to start here. Okay, Lynn, would you deal out the second group of 5 there? There we go. Okay, so we discard the villain card from the last round. We deal up a new random villain, who we got the Daughters of Aku as our new random villain, who has a new bunch of requirements for the different spots to go on. And there are only a few things that we have not had to mention yet. So a couple things I just want to go over are that if Jack moves to a location, and whether or not people are there, but later Aku moves to that same location, Jack's sanity meter will move up. And if Jack's sanity meter ever gets to the 10th place, everyone loses. So you do want to sometimes try to coordinate to protect the spots around Jack so that Aku can't drive him insane. In addition to that, any character on the spot where Aku went, so for in this case Sir Rothschild, doesn't get to take an action, so he doesn't get to take a card, and during his next turn, he shuffles his movement deck up and moves randomly. So as Aku throws him through a portal. So Aku can be a royal pain. In addition, if Aku moved much faster than he did last round and had gotten ahead of us in front, he would take up the spot worth the least point on the villain card, blocking us from being able to achieve points for that spot. And that's really just about it that we didn't cover. We play through this a second round, we reshuffle and deal everything out again dealing out 2 cards to each location, which we didn't do here, but you would do at the beginning of every round. And in the third round, you deal out one of the arcade incarnations of Aku. Just show you one of the random versions of Aku here. So here is one of the random versions of Aku. He generally has harder challenges to beat that require far more cards. But that's really it. That's how you play a game of Samurai Jack Back to the Past. So now we're going to head back over and we're going to talk about how this game plays and how it feels. And we're going to rate it and review it. Okay, welcome back. So that was how you play a game of Samurai Jack Back to the Past. So let's start with some negatives so we can end on positives. I usually like to do it that way. So what are some negatives you have on this game? You seem to be having trouble thinking of negatives. Should I go with some negatives?
Yes.
Okay, so, all right. The production is a bit of a mixed bag for me on this one. I think the minis are fantastic. Absolutely love the minis. But the board's kind of boring. Also, the cards are neither linen finish nor glossy finish. They're just sort of like a matte finish. They feel thick and substantial. They don't feel flimsy. But they don't feel great either. So like a lot of the components in this, I kind of feel like they were like, okay, this is good enough. You know, we've got a really cool theme. We've got these really great minis. And then everything else, oh, that's good enough. Let's go to production. So like, it's not that there's anything that I particularly want to complain about the production. There's nothing that's terrible. Nothing's bad. It's just a lot of it is middle of the road when it comes to the production. There's a few gripes I already talked about in the beginning with the rule book. But those are minor. I mean, if you read the whole rule book, including the examples, you do get all the rules and you understand the rules. But again, that also feels like they should have done a bit more editing on the rule book, and then we're just like, oh yeah, it's good enough. It's good enough. Good enough to go. How about you? Where are you at with gripes?
I think it's just really what we mentioned before, the 2-player game. I don't like how the third player works.
Okay, how it makes the third ghost player?
Yeah.
Okay, so fair enough. So 2-player is a bit tacked on, and there's a different alternate way to play. But now let's talk about some positives. So first off, the minis. Okay, the minis in this are really, really cool. They are really attention-getting. They're just about enough to make you ignore the boringness of the board because the minis that are on the board are so amazing looking. So, yeah, that's number one for me.
Well, I don't think... I mean, you keep saying the board is boring, but I mean...
Well, go ahead. Disagree.
I mean, it does what it's supposed to do, and just because it's doesn't have bells and whistles doesn't mean that it's boring. It's
no,
just...
actually, that's exactly what boring means. It's not interesting. It's not exciting. It's boring.
I think the board is fine.
The board is functional. I don't have any problems with the board being non-functional. It's just it could have done with a bit more, attractiveness in its design. Instead of the plain gray in the background of the board that holds the cards, they could have had a big art piece behind it instead of the very faded view of a bit of artwork behind the matte color of each of the spaces that you move on. They could have made the illustration more more of a forefront kind of thing. I don't know. It just it feels a little.
I don't know. I think you're nitpicking.
Well, these are my negatives. But we're trying to move on to the positives.
But I think that for a licensed IP game, I think that it's pretty good.
Well, okay, so let's go on. So what is good about it? What are some positives?
Well, it's fun to play.
Okay, so it's enjoyable.
Yeah.
Go on.
The how you play and everything makes sense thematically.
For the show?
For the show, yeah.
Okay, so it's very thematic. It's enjoyable. The mechanics are fine. I mean, it's not a super complicated game. I'd say this is probably like a lower middleweight. Mm-hmm. So you do hand management to control for your movement. And then where you go, you're going to places specifically because you're trying to do set collecting to get the right cards to defeat the particular spots on the bad guy. The better set of cards you get, the more points you can get, and you're trying to get the most points. And also it has that interesting, like, semi-cooperative thing. It's not really cooperative, it's competitive, but there's that thing where if nobody goes to Jack's space, he moves up on the sanity meter, and if he goes off the end of the sanity meter, everyone loses. So there is a level of, okay, hey, are you, and you can bluff, and you can be like, hey, are you going to Jack's space this turn? Because somebody really should, So yeah, I mean I like how the game plays too. I would agree. Any other big positives you want to throw out on that?
No.
So where are you at with this game? How are you feeling about it? You obviously are very positive. Do you want to go first or second on the?
I'll go first.
You want to go first? So where are you at with this game? What are your feelings about how it plays? About review it. Where are you at with it?
I'm gonna give it a 7. I enjoy playing it.
Okay.
I think for being an officially licensed game, it's pretty good.
Definitely. Well, 7 is a positive score.
Yeah.
7 means you'll play it anytime someone asks, so definitely good.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's it.
Oh, I thought you were going somewhere else with that. I thought you were going to go into some more depth. Well, okay. I was pleasantly surprised by this game also. Again, because you can sometimes be a bit iffy with official IP games. So overall, I would say that official IP games have been getting better than they used to be, which is a good thing. Now, I never really got into this show. I maybe watched an episode or two. You watched it a lot more than I did. But I enjoyed the game without knowing whether or not this is thematic or how thematic it is. I enjoyed playing the game. I'm right there with you. I'm also going to give it a 7 out of 10 stars. It's not something that like totally blew my mind, but I will play this game whenever somebody says, "Oh, you have the Samurai Jack game? Let's try that." And I'll be like, "Yeah, okay, we'll play Samurai Jack." Like I can't think of at the moment of any time where I'd just be like, "Yeah, no, I'm not going to play Samurai Jack." Like I would always agree to play it. So I'm going to give it 7 out of 10 stars. I think it'd be a good game night game. I think it's really good with 3 to 5 players, and that's where I like it at. So, any other thoughts you have on Samurai Jack: Back to the Past?
Just that I like that Aku's face is shiny.
Yeah, they did that, what they call that, spot optics. I don't know if I can show that to the camera. Let's see if I can get the shine from the lights. There it went. There, a little shine went over it. Yeah, they did the spot optics on Aku's face there. So there you go. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, either on this video or on Samurai Jack: Back to the Past, be sure to put them in the comments down below. And if you enjoyed watching this review and tutorial video and you'd like to see us do more like it on the channel, be sure to give this video a like, share it on all forms of social media, and if you haven't already, please subscribe to the Board Game Kaptain. That's Kaptain spelled with a K on YouTube. And until next time, game on.